a response to a very severe famine which had taken place in 66, 67. And so this was the biggest development program that Oxfam at that time had ever undertaken anywhere in the world. So so that was when I was involved with the Gandhians and village development in the very poorest villages in probably that at that time the very poorest state in India, Bihar, and then after 3 years as a volunteer, I wondered what I would be doing next, and I didn't think that I would be very happy to go back to experimental animal husbandry, which I had been involved with at Nottingham University. So, so just at that time, then all the disturbance started in what was then East Pakistan, and I had already met a number of Bengali families in the district town of Gaya. Bodh Gaya is the birthplace of Buddhism, but Gaya is very important. Gaya is a very important Hindu pilgrimage place, and so I was there, and then I heard on the BBC something about some sort of speech which had galvanized people in Dhaka, and I went down to the area of Gaya town where Bengali families were living very close by each other. So then they said, oh, this was the March the 7th speech of Bangabandhu, and they said, there is going to be a new country, Bangladesh, they told me at that time. And then very soon after that, of course, after the 25th of March, Oxfam started receiving telegrams from NGO or mission hospitals in the border areas, which were being supported by Oxfam grants in different projects. They received telegrams in Oxford headquarters saying so many thousand had crossed the border the previous day or something like that, and then we were asked to go to the border areas to verify. So and that's how I started sending telegrams to Oxfam saying, for instance, at the Bongaon crossing point, the 20,000 had crossed the previous day, and when the telegrams received in Oxford, they assumed that the telegram operator had added a zero, so they didn't believe these figures. So, and that was in the early days, and then of course we had to Oxfam had to decide, and that wasn't actually my decision. Luckily we had somebody who knew Bangladeshis far better than anybody else, and he was a French-Canadian Catholic brother who had worked in East Pakistan from 1958 to 1965.
Well, he was the principal of my school, and he left in 1965.
Yeah, so then he was the sort of, he was giving us all the support, but we younger people were involved in setting things up, and if he hadn't supported us, I wouldn't be talking to you today, because that was when Oxfam wanted to send lots of white faces to save the refugees, because in those days the media was very, it was significant when those were the days when, with international flights, you would be going up a staircase into the plane. So teams of doctors from Save the Children Fund or Christian Aid or UNICEF would be on the staircase, photographed on the front page of the Times the next day. They're going to do wonderful work in the refugee camps, and that brought in a lot of income. So Oxfam was not happy that we didn't want foreigners, but this person, French Canadian, fought this very hard, and was proved right, because very soon after we got everything going, the government of India banned foreigners going to the border areas. So we were able to start very good programs with local organizations, particularly with the links we had with the Gandhi Peace Foundation. And so different ashrams and different institutions in different parts of the border area, whether it was Bongaon or Agartala or a mission organization in Cooch Behar. So, but when people give me too much credit, oh, you are a Liberation War hero and blah blah blah, I said, look, I just happened to be in the right place at the right time, and it just, and I got the support, whether it was from senior people. I was 26 then in 1971. So whether it was from senior people or from the people who worked with us, like Uday. I mean, I was administrating and calming people down when they were very upset, and that sort of thing. And so it was a privilege to be part of that team. I mean, the program we had was one of the best, and in fact, it's perhaps this should not be written about, but so it's not to be quoted. But the British Deputy High Commission in Calcutta was of the opinion that Oxfam's program was the best one of the British agencies, and the Deputy High Commissioner had nominated the three of us for MBEs, which I learnt a number of years later, because normally this is all confidential information. But that nomination was turned down in London because it would, to give 3 honours to the same people of the same organisation would be rather unfair, and they did not want to upset the chairperson of this Save the Children Fund, who happened to be Lady Alexandra Metcalfe, the daughter of a former Viceroy of India. So look,
Julian, I'll interrupt you because time is at a